Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely. Always ready to dig into the latest crypto happenings.
All right. Well, today we're zeroing in on the stuff that really matters to crypto pros like you guys out there.
You got it. Actionable insights. That's what we're all about.
We've got this market report from December 6th, 2024.
Hot off the press.
Yeah. And we're going to pull out the really important stuff.
The insights you need to stay ahead of the game.
Exactly. So let's kick things off with a quick look at the overall market. The global market cap, it's down just a bit.
A tiny dip, 0.79%.
Yeah, not a huge move, but here's what I found interesting. The Fear and Greed Index. It's at 81. Extreme greed territory.
That's a pretty interesting signal, right? What do you make of it?
Well, it seems like we've got kind of conflicting messages here, right? A dip in the market, but everyone's super greedy.
Yeah, it suggests that some people are maybe taking profits, playing it safe after those recent gains.
Makes sense.
But at the same time, you've got this overwhelming sense of optimism. Like, everyone's still expecting things to go way up. We've seen this before historically, right? And it often leads to some pretty wild price swings.
Yeah, don't let FOMO take over.
Exactly. Stay informed. Make rational decisions.
All right. Well, let's shift gears a bit and zoom in on the big two, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin saw a little pullback today.
Down 3.39%.
Yep, after breaking that $100,000 mark. A historic moment.
Definitely. But then that correction, kind of predictable after such a big run-up.
Do you think it's just a natural correction?
I think so. There's always profit-taking when you hit a big milestone like that. Plus, you know that the whole market's been correcting a bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if some investors are just kind of waiting to see if Bitcoin can hold strong above 100,000. Those support levels, they're key for understanding where things are headed in the short term.
So maybe a good buying opportunity for those who are in it for the long haul.
Could be. Definitely something to consider.
Now let's talk about Ethereum. Seems like it's finally waking up, pushing towards $4,000. After being pretty quiet for a while, I think this is the start of something bigger.
It might be. And you know what's really interesting? This Ethereum price movement. It's happening at the same time we're seeing a lot more activity on those layer 2 scaling solutions. Arbitrum, Optimism, you know those?
Right. They're designed to help Ethereum with its scalability issues.
Exactly. And if they can really prove themselves, show that they can make Ethereum faster and more efficient, well, that could be a huge confidence boost for the whole ecosystem.
So Ethereum's price could keep climbing if those layer 2 solutions really take off.
It's definitely a trend to watch, especially if you're into DeFi or any of those dApps built on Ethereum.
All right. Well, let's move beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum for a bit. Time to check out some of the other movers and shakers in the market today.
Always good to see what's happening beneath the surface, right?
Yep. On the gainer side, we've got Bitget Token up over 25%.
Big jump.
dYdX is also having a great day, up over 23%. And then there's Athena climbing almost 11%. What do you think's driving these rally?
Well, with Bitget Token, it really shows you how important utility is becoming in these exchange ecosystems. Holders get those perks, trading fee discounts, early access to new listings, even a say in governance, all that good stuff.
So those extra features are bringing in more users, and that drives up demand for the token. Makes sense. What about dYdX?
Well, with dYdX, it's a reminder that decentralized derivatives trading, that's still a hot topic. And as DeFi keeps maturing, we're going to see more and more platforms like dYdX popping up, offering more control, more options.
Yeah, Athena.
Athena, it's a prime example of the innovation we're seeing in DeFi lending and borrowing. Seems like they've added some new features that are really catching on.
So it's a mixed bag of reasons behind these gains, but it sounds like a lot of it comes down to real-world use cases and innovation.
I'd say so.
Now let's flip the script and talk about the coins that didn't do so well today. EOS is down almost 8%.
Yeah.
Litecoin dropped over 7%. And Algorand is lagging behind with a decrease of over 6%. Any thoughts on what's going on there?
It's a good reminder, Even when the overall market's feeling greedy, individual projects can have their own ups and downs. For EOS, there's been some chatter about their development roadmap, and you know how quickly they're being adopted.
So maybe some doubts creeping in.
And then there's Litecoin. It's been around forever, but some of these newer, flashier payment projects are stealing the show.
It's tough to stay on top in the crypto world.
And Algorand, they've got great tech, but they're having a bit of trouble attracting developers and building that thriving ecosystem.
So maybe some growing pains there.
It's possible, but it's a good lesson for all of us, right? Don't just follow the crowd. Do your homework on those individual projects.
Yeah, don't just ride the waves of the market. Got to make informed decisions.
Absolutely.
Well, that brings us to our next topic, regulation. And there's some big news today that's shaking things up.
Yeah, seems like there's always something happening on the regulatory front, right?
Always something brewing, so let's jump right into it. Big news today reports that the SEC is planning to reject those spot Solana ETFs.
Big blow for the Solana community.
Definitely a setback. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's definitely not what Solana fans wanted to hear. The SEC's reasoning seems to be the same old song and dance. Market manipulation, investor protection, that kind of thing.
Yeah, those familiar concerns. But the question is this just about Solana, or is the SEC hesitant about all spot crypto ETFs?
Right. Is this a Solana-specific issue, or is it a broader signal? Hard to say for sure at this point, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. Now let's switch gears to some positive regulatory news. Circle's USDC stablecoin. It's now officially compliant with Canada's new rules for digital assets. Those are some pretty tough regulations up there.
They are, and this is a huge win for Circle. It gives USDC a big advantage in the Canadian market, especially since other stablecoins could be delisted if they don't meet those requirements by the end of the year.
So we could see USDC really taking off in Canada.
It's definitely possible. And it also sets a good example for other stablecoin issuers who want to operate in places with strict regulations.
So the takeaway here is that understanding and adapting to these regulatory changes, it can be a game changer.
Huge advantage.
Okay. Speaking of navigating regulations, let's head over to Australia. They're cracking down on crypto ATMs over money laundering concerns.
Yeah, it's always that balancing act, isn't it? The decentralized nature of crypto, but then the need to prevent illegal activities.
It's that constant tension between innovation and responsibility. Keeps coming up.
For sure. As crypto goes, mainstream regulators around the world are going to be watching even more closely. So for everyone involved exchanges, ATM operators' compliance has to be a top priority.
Can't ignore those regulations.
Ignoring them could lead to some serious trouble down the line.
All right, let's shift gears again. This time, let's talk about institutional adoption. One headline really caught my eye today. US Bitcoin ETFs, they now hold more Bitcoin than Satoshi Nakamoto.
Wow, that's a pretty big statement. Shows you how much institutional confidence has grown in Bitcoin. It's not some fringe thing anymore. It's a legitimate asset class.
And these institutions aren't just interested in Bitcoin. We've got companies like Worksport. They make electric vehicles, and they're adding Bitcoin and XRP to their treasury strategy.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more common. Companies are using crypto as a hedge against inflation economic uncertainty. It's not just those tech-forward companies either. Traditional industries are getting on board.
Crypto's becoming a part of the mainstream financial system. We can't deny that. Now, earlier we talked about the SEC possibly rejecting spot Solana ETFs, but there's another Solana development that could be a game changer.
Right. The new crypto czar, David Sachs, he's a big Solana supporter, and he's got those connections to Multicoin Capital. They're a major Solana investor.
So this appointment, it could mean smoother sailing for Solana in terms of U.S. regulations.
It's possible. So we've got these two opposing forces at play, right? Regulatory pushback on one side and potential high-level support on the other.
The crypto world is full of twists and turns.
It's rarely black and white. You have to look at all the angles, anticipate what might happen. That's what makes you a real crypto pro. Now, we've talked about a lot of positive stuff, but let's not forget about the risks.
Right. Can't ignore those. Risk management is crucial in any market, especially crypto. And we saw some news today that highlights those security concerns. Sky used to be called MakerDAO. They're being scrutinized for potential vulnerabilities in their USDC reserves.
Yeah, this is a big reminder that security has to be rock solid in DeFi. That decentralized nature, it's powerful, but it also makes it vulnerable to attacks.
Back to that idea of balancing innovation with responsibility. DeFi protocols, crypto ATMs. Doesn't matter. Security and compliance. Those have to be top priorities.
Totally agree. Breaches like this, they damage trust in the whole ecosystem. They slow down mainstream adoption. Proactive risk management, it's not optional. It's essential if we want crypto to succeed in the long run. You know, speaking of changing perceptions and mainstream adoption, did you catch that apology from the Financial Times to Bitcoiners?
I did. Kind of funny, right? But it just goes to show how far Bitcoin has come. Even its biggest critics are coming around.
Yeah, it was a lighthearted moment, but it speaks volumes about Bitcoin's resilience. It's here to stay.
And speaking of bridging the gap between traditional finance and crypto, we saw news about GRVT, that hybrid exchange. They just got a regulatory license in Bermuda.
Interesting development. Hybrid models like GRVT, they could be a real gateway for people who are new to crypto.
Yeah, they offer that familiar experience of a centralized exchange, but with the innovation and transparency of DeFi.
A nice stepping stone.
So as we wrap up today, What are the big takeaways for crypto professionals? What should they be thinking about?
Well, we started by talking about that big picture view. The market dipping a little, but still a ton of greed out there. It's exciting, but gotta stay level-headed.
Right. Data-driven decisions,
Right.
not emotional ones.
Exactly. Then we dug into Bitcoin and Ethereum, how they're performing, what's driving those price swings, and of course those other big movers. Bitget Token, dYdX, Athena doing really well.
And EOS, Litecoin, Algorand, not so much.
Right. It's a reminder that even in a bull market, gotta research those individual projects.
Can't just ride the wave.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole regulatory landscape. The SEC and those Solana ETFs, circle winning in Canada, Australia clamping down on crypto ATMs.
Regulations, they're a big deal.
They are. Professionals need to stay informed, adapt quickly, build businesses that can handle those changes.
For sure. And let's not forget about those big institutions jumping into crypto. Bitcoin ETFs holding more Bitcoin than Satoshi. Companies like Worksport adding crypto to their balance sheets.
Crypto is becoming more and more mainstream.
Absolutely. It's been an interesting deep dive today. Lots to think about.
It has. From market trends to regulations to institutional adoption, we covered a lot. But here's a final thought for everyone out there. We've seen so much progress in the crypto space. Institutions are getting involved. Regulations are starting to make more sense. And these innovative projects, they're pushing the boundaries all the time.
That's really incredible to see. So what's going to take crypto to that next level? What's going to drive mass adoption?
Is it going to be some mind-blowing new tech? A big change in global regulations? Maybe a bit of everything?
That's a good question. Something to ponder.
As you navigate the crypto world, stay informed, stay flexible, stay ahead of the game. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.